The Audie Murphy mystery has long fascinated the public, and the truth behind it is far darker than most expect. Audie Leon Murphy was born on June 20, 1925, in Kingston, Texas, the seventh of 12 children in a struggling sharecropping family led by Emmett and Josie Bell Murphy. Life during the Great Depression offered little mercy. His father abandoned the family while Audie was still young, and when his mother died, he was only 16, leaving him effectively orphaned with just a fifth-grade education. Murphy was forced to leave school and take on whatever work he could find to help keep his younger siblings fed. Those formative years were marked by hardship and sacrifice, shaping a boy who learned responsibility far too early and developed a toughness that would define the rest of his life. In 1942, Murphy enlisted in the U.S. Army after being rejected by both the Navy and the Marine Corps for being too small and underweight. At 5 feet 5 inches tall and barely over 110 pounds, he hardly looked like a future war hero. Yet his physical size masked extraordinary courage, resolve, and leadership. During World War II, Murphy fought across North Africa, Italy, France, and Germany, quickly earning a reputation for fearless determination and sharp tactical instincts. His most legendary act came on January 26, 1945, near Holtzwihr, France. Badly wounded and outnumbered, Murphy climbed onto a burning tank destroyer and manned its .50 caliber machine gun, holding off an entire company of German soldiers for more than an hour while directing artillery fire. That single act of valor earned him the Medal of Honor at just 19 years old. By the war's end, Murphy had received every major US combat decoration available, including the Distinguished Service Cross, 2 Silver Stars, the Bronze Star, and 3 Purple Hearts. In total, he was awarded 33 medals and honors from the United States and Allied nations, making him the most decorated American soldier of World War II. Returning home as a national hero, Murphy faced a different kind of battle. He suffered intensely from what was then called battle fatigue, now known as post-traumatic stress disorder. Nightmares, insomnia, and emotional turmoil followed him long after the fighting ended. Still, he used his fame to speak openly about the psychological cost of war, becoming one of the first prominent veterans to publicly advocate for mental health awareness among soldiers. Murphy transitioned into a Hollywood career where he found unexpected success as a film actor. Over time, he appeared in more than 40 movies, most famously To Hell and Back, 1955, a biographical war film adapted from his own memoir. In a rare and emotionally charged decision, Murphy portrayed himself, reenacting the very combat experiences that had shaped and haunted his life. The film became a major box office success, securing his place not only as a decorated war hero, but also as a legitimate movie star. Despite his growing fame, Murphy never considered himself a great actor. He approached the craft with humility and discipline, the same traits that had defined him as a soldier. Alongside acting, he explored songwriting, co-writing several country and Western songs. Some of these were later recorded by well-known artists including Dean Martin and Charlie Pride, further expanding his creative footprint beyond film. In 1957, Murphy earned a standout role as the Utica Kid in the classic Western Night Passage, sharing the screen with established legends James Stewart and Dan Duryea. The performance marked a turning point in his career, proving he could hold his own alongside Hollywood heavyweights and solidifying his reputation within the Western genre, which was dominating popular entertainment at the time. The year 1959 became one of Murphy's most defining periods. He appeared in 3 westerns that showcased different dimensions of his screen presence. In The Wild and the Innocent, he starred opposite Sandra Dee, bringing a sense of vulnerability and sincerity to the story. That same year, he served as an uncredited co-producer on the stark black-and-white drama Cast a Long Shadow, working with director Jack Arnold and demonstrating his growing influence behind the scenes. Critics took particular notice of No Name on the Bullet, where Murphy played a hired gun with quiet menace and moral complexity. The film earned widespread praise for its atmosphere and for Murphy's restrained, layered performance, elevating his standing as a serious leading man within the Western canon. Murphy's talents extended beyond cinema. In 1960, he appeared on television in the anthology series Startime, acting alongside Thelma Ritter. The role highlighted his natural ease on the small screen and broadened his appeal. During the early 1960s, His sense of duty resurfaced as he lent his time and star power to support the U.S. Army's television series The Big Picture, reinforcing his lifelong commitment to service even after the uniform was gone. For 3 episodes, Murphy did more than simply appear on screen. He became a trusted representative of the military's efforts to connect with the public. His commitment did not go unnoticed. In 1960, he was awarded the Outstanding Civilian Service Medal, a rare honor recognizing his continued dedication after active duty. One standout installment, Broken Bridge, sent Murphy traveling to military installations across Germany, Italy, Turkey, and the American Southwest and New Mexico, highlighting modern training, advanced weaponry, and emerging technology while blending entertainment with real-world significance. During the same period, Murphy's creative partnerships flourished. One of the most important was with screenwriter Claire Huffaker, who penned the scripts for 2 of Murphy's major 1961 westerns, 7 Ways from Sundown and Posse from Hell. These films were tailored to Murphy's strengths, pairing rugged intensity with quiet moral tension, and further solidified his standing as a central figure in the Western genre. Another deeply influential collaboration emerged with Willard W. Willingham and his wife, Mary Willingham, who became close friends during Murphy's early Hollywood years. Together, they developed a productive professional bond. Willard produced Murphy's 1961 television series, Whispering Smith, and co-wrote the screenplay for Battle at Bloody Beach that same year. Combining gritty realism with action-driven storytelling. Their partnership continued throughout the mid-1960s with Bullet for a Bad Man in 1964 and Arizona Raiders in 1965, both of which further defined Murphy's Western persona. The Willinghams also collaborated on Gunpoint and wrote the script for 40 Guns to Apache Pass in 1967, which would become Murphy's final starring role in a traditional Western film. Murphy also broadened his scope internationally, filming Trunk to Cairo in Israel in 1966. The project reflected his willingness to explore roles beyond familiar American settings, challenging himself creatively even late in his career. Perhaps the most pivotal relationship of all was with director Bud Boticher. Their partnership began unexpectedly in a boxing gym at Terry Hunt's athletic club, where Murphy asked to serve as Boticher's sparring partner. That chance meeting sparked a creative alliance that lasted nearly 2 decades. Murphy starred in Boticher's first Western, The Cimarron Kid, in 1951, laying the groundwork for a lasting bond. Their collaboration came full circle in 1969 when Boticher wrote A Time for Dying, Murphy's final film. Though plans existed for additional projects, including A Horse for Mr. Barnum and When There's Something to Do, those films were never realized, leaving A Time for Dying as a poignant closing chapter to Murphy's remarkable career. The conclusion of that partnership left many fans wondering what might have followed had the two continued working together. Away from the screen, Audie Murphy's personal life was defined by both warmth and upheaval, reflecting the private battles he carried long after the war ended. In 1949, he married actress Wanda Hendricks, a familiar Hollywood presence who had appeared in numerous films throughout the 1940s and early 1950s. The marriage drew heavy media attention, fueled by Murphy's rising fame as the most decorated American combat soldier of World War II and Wanda's growing career in film. From the outside, they appeared to be a golden couple. In reality, their relationship struggled under immense strain. The pressures of Hollywood, Murphy's unresolved trauma from combat, and the challenges of sustaining a public marriage slowly eroded their bond. Murphy's post-traumatic stress, then poorly understood, affected every aspect of his life. Sleeplessness, emotional volatility, and anxiety followed him into his marriage, making stability difficult to maintain. After 2 years of trying to hold the relationship together, the couple divorced in 1951, closing a chapter that had been as public as it was painful. Only 4 days after the divorce was finalized, Murphy remarried. His second wife, Pamela Opal Lee Archer, was a former airline stewardess whose grounded nature and calm presence contrasted sharply with the intensity of his first marriage. Their relationship moved quickly, reflecting Murphy's deep desire for stability, belonging, and family. After years of chaos, Pamela offered something Murphy had rarely known: consistency. Amid his lingering trauma and the pressures of fame, she provided a sense of normal life and emotional support that he urgently needed. Together, they built a family that became central to Murphy's later years. The couple had two sons, Terry Michael and James Shannon. Terry Michael Murphy, born in 1952, would later pursue his own work in the entertainment industry, continuing the family's connection to Hollywood. James Shannon Murphy, born a few years later, also grew up under the shadow of his father's extraordinary legacy. Both sons were raised with an understanding of their father's remarkable achievements and the heavy costs that accompanied them. Murphy's marriage to Pamela lasted far longer than his first, offering him a measure of personal happiness and family stability that had long eluded him. Even as the weight of his past never fully lifted, Pamela's role in Murphy's life went far beyond that of a spouse. She became his anchor, a confidant who helped him navigate the relentless pressures of fame, unresolved trauma, and the expectations placed on a national hero. Despite the many challenges Murphy faced, including chronic physical pain and emotional scars from the war, his family provided a stabilizing presence. The daily rhythm of family life, his son's presence, and the relative calm of his marriage to Pamela stood in sharp contrast to the instability of his earlier years. For the first time, Murphy experienced something close to peace, a sense of normalcy he had long been denied. Yet even that fragile balance could not quiet the questions that would follow his death. For decades, the circumstances surrounding the passing of Audie Murphy, one of America's most decorated World War II soldiers and a successful Hollywood actor, had been clouded by intrigue, speculation, and unresolved doubt. His rise from a struggling Texas farm boy to a legendary war hero is well documented. What happened on the day he died, however, has remained far less clear. In recent years, renewed investigation and previously overlooked evidence have brought clarity to the mystery. Unfortunately, the truth is far more disturbing than many hoped. The official account long appeared simple. On May 28, 1971, Murphy was killed in a plane crash on Brush Mountain near Catawba, Virginia. He was a passenger aboard a small twin-engine Aero Commander aircraft that went down in severe weather while flying at low altitude over mountainous terrain. Authorities concluded the crash resulted from pilot error combined with poor visibility, a tragic accident that ended Murphy's life at just 45 years old. Almost immediately, doubts surfaced. Murphy's history of post-traumatic stress, his outspoken nature, and his connections within Hollywood and government circles fueled speculation. Some questioned whether the crash was truly accidental. Conspiracy theories multiplied. Claims ranged from intelligence agencies silencing Murphy due to sensitive knowledge, to retaliation tied to private business conflicts, even whispers of organized crime involvement. These theories persisted because certain details were never fully explained, including the aircraft's unusually low flight path, inconsistencies in pilot-related accounts, and reports that key pieces of wreckage were missing from the crash site. For decades, those unanswered questions lingered, keeping the mystery alive and leaving Murphy's admirers searching for the truth. Family members strongly rejected any suggestion of foul play, holding firmly to the belief that Murphy's death was the result of a tragic accident. Yet the lack of definitive answers left the truth frustratingly out of reach. That uncertainty cast a long shadow over Murphy's legacy, leading many to wonder whether the war hero's life ended not only in tragedy, but in something far more disturbing. In recent years, a group of independent investigators, driven by advances in forensic technology and access to newly declassified government records, launched a renewed examination of the crash. Using modern analytical tools unavailable in 1971, they re-examined wreckage fragments, weather data, and flight conditions. What they claimed to uncover raised troubling questions that challenged the long-standing official explanation. According to their findings, signs of interference were allegedly discovered within the aircraft's control systems, including components that appeared altered in ways the investigators argued were consistent with intentional tampering. At the same time, new interviews surfaced involving previously silent witnesses and retired officials, suggesting that Murphy may have been monitored in the months leading up to the crash. One individual, described as a whistleblower, came forward after decades of silence, claiming Murphy had encountered sensitive information tied to covert government activity. According to this account, Murphy's knowledge made him a potential liability, and his death was allegedly engineered to resemble an unavoidable accident. The testimony outlined what was described as a deliberate effort to suppress the truth and permanently silence him. The implications of these claims are deeply unsettling. A man celebrated for extraordinary courage in wartime would, under this interpretation, have been betrayed during peace by powerful forces working behind the scenes. What was once viewed as a sorrowful accident is reframed as a story of conspiracy, deception, and calculated betrayal. For Murphy's family, the emotional impact has been profound. Decades of grief compounded by unanswered questions have now given way to renewed demands for transparency. Confronted with the possibility of foul play, they have called for a full public inquiry and accountability for the man who risked everything for his country. Historians and military scholars are now reassessing Murphy's legacy, struggling to reconcile these claims within the broader landscape of Cold War America, where heroism, secrecy, and power often collided in ways that left lasting scars. Hollywood's long-rumored ties to government agencies, and the hidden risks faced by public figures who crossed unseen lines, place Audie Murphy's death in a far darker light. What was once believed to be a tragic but simple accident now raises disturbing questions about power, secrecy, and betrayal. Instead of closure, the so-called solution to the Audie Murphy mystery opens a Pandora's box. The full truth behind his death may never be completely known. But what has surfaced is enough to cast a heavy shadow over the legacy of one of America's greatest heroes, and it isn't comforting at all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more untold stories behind Hollywood's most unforgettable moments.